What up, y'all? Josh and Isi here once again with another quality video. As you all can tell from the title, we are back with another Therapy Thursday.
Long time.
It has been a little bit of a long time. I can't remember the last time we did a Therapy Thursday. I feel like it was maybe 2 weeks ago.
I think longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, well, you guys really like these, so we wanted to bring them back to you. Obviously, we are here to help you guys create your own happy and healthy relationships between you and the people around you. So we're going to give out some of our advice to some of these questions. Now, before we get into this, we are not licensed therapists. Okay, we are not therapists at all, actually. We are just two people who are in love, and we have some pretty good advice for you guys. You can take it with a grain of salt, or you could just leave it right here in the video. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into this video.
All right, first Therapy Thursday. If your significant other is in a living situation where they live with a parent, but the parent is taking advantage of your significant other as far as bills and financial things, how do you go about this as the person on the outside looking in? Because now your significant other is unable to save to get their own place, and it puts a hold on future plans and goals. So, what conversations need to be had? Because I don't like for my significant other to be taken advantage of and struggle. But I know that a conversation needs to be had between him and the parent.
That's complex.
That is complex.
It's a complex question. I kind of like it though.
Yeah, no.
Complex questions, you know,
Yeah.
I need those in my life.
Okay.
So to start things out, I would like to, well, you're going to have to gauge, because I don't know anything from it, but you're going to have to gauge you guys' relationship status. Like normally if you guys were like engaged, or if you guys been in it for a very long time.
Right. Yeah,
like,
I wish you would have given us a little bit more context.
Yeah, I wish there was a little more context
like
in
how
that.
long have you been together? Has this been something that's been discussed before? Like, is your significant other even aware that he's been taken advantage of?
Yeah.
And hasn't just communicated that to the parent, or are you the only one that sees it? Because even that is, you might be walking into, you know what I mean?
And because when it comes to like, especially family, it's hard to put your 2 cents on something that like you're not necessarily part of, especially if you don't have too much stake in the game.
Right.
So like you can say like friendly advice like, hey, you're having trouble saving because, you know, like your family situation, but you never want to step in between someone that's trying to take care of their family.
Yeah.
That's kind of tough.
That's a tough one. And by her saying that it's putting a hold on future plans and goals, that kind of, I think, means that her and her significant other have discussed things.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel you, sis, first of all. I feel you and get where you're coming from with that. But because this is such a complex and delicate situation, you got to be careful about how you move forward, especially because if this is a long-time partner or long-term partner, like long-term into potential like marriage and stuff, then this parent that you're referring to is going to be your in-law. So you got to tread lightly with how you decide to handle things so you don't ignite something that you don't need in your life. You feel me?
Because sometimes it's hard to backstep when you've overstepped.
Yes.
So you kind of want to take baby steps into it. So like maybe you can like say to them like, hey, you know, I see you're having trouble saving. Have you ever like thought to like put a little money aside for yourself? You know, just start stacking a little bit up on the side.
And yes, I think that's a good idea. But also, I don't know if she's asked her significant other what's up. Just straight up, what's up with that? Because it might be something going on with the parent that she doesn't even know about as a reason why he's helping to, you know.
You got to turn on that research mode.
Yeah, it's more research mode. I think before you go into like, you need to do X, Y, and Z, or you need to stop doing X, Y, and Z, I think you need to just try to get more clarity on the why.
Yeah.
If you already have clarity, then cool. We can't really gauge that based off of the Therapy Thursday submission, but if you don't have like solid clarity on why your significant other is helping that parent so much, ask that first. If you do already have clarity on it, I do think then it's important to start trying to like help your significant other map out, I don't want to say a way out, but I think similar to what you're saying, like kind of start saving a little bit on the side and whatnot, or like trying to encourage the significant other to have a conversation with the parent about their goals. My goal is to move out the house by 2022. With that, how can we work that? Like, encourage that, but you shouldn't overstep. You can't tell the person what to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be on their terms.
Yeah,
you can give like friendly advice, but in terms of like
and a listening ear,
maybe a listening ear, do some research, ask questions. Like, you can ask questions and maybe they come to their own conclusion.
Right. There's a way to, us women can do that. So.
Just ask enough questions to make them come to the realization like, hey, maybe I should start, looking out for me individually. Especially because if you're a young adult growing into adulthood, you're going to eventually have to start doing that.
Right.
So, like, just ask more questions to start out before you get into like, hey, you're being taken advantage of.
Right.
That really can draw a line in the sand. You don't want to do that.
No.
I don't know if you want to do that. Next up, Therapy Thursday. How do you build better communication with your partner? We've been arguing for a couple of weeks and the energy has been off even when we're not arguing. What should we do to improve, and how can we communicate better in our relationship overall? Love y'all, by the way.
I think the first question I would ask is what is y'all's current communication status, so to speak? Or like, how do you guys argue with each other? Because something that we try to reiterate to you guys in terms of like when we have our disagreements or arguments or whatever, there's never a raised tone or voice. There's never calling each other out our name. There's always that level of respect that's there.
Yeah.
Even if we're not seeing eye to eye, so to speak. So I think just those things alone, ask yourself, how are you communicating your issues with your partner? If you're screaming and rah-rah, you're cussing them out, calling them out their name and stuff like that, you're never going to get anything resolved in the first place. Yeah. I'm trying to think too, when we used to have like our bickering phase, because I understand that part of like, even when things aren't bad or you're not in a situation, the frequency is just off. Even we notice that sometimes, like when you're with somebody so long, you can just tell when the vibe and energy is. So I think that something I'm going to mention is, I don't know the last time, or if you guys even do Sunday reflections, or it doesn't have to be Sunday reflections. We talk about that a lot, but we call it Sunday reflections because I think that helps you just gauge. That is more so about trying to figure out where your partner's head is at. And I think along with figuring out where their head is at, where their mental is at, emotional, spiritual, physical, then you can kind of gauge a little bit better about how you can initiate a conversation with them about how you guys can do better at communicating with each other.
I think one thing, yes, that makes plenty of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think something that you all, from the beginning of this, where it says that we've been arguing for a couple of weeks, and even when they're not arguing, that the energy's off.
Right.
That indicates to me that you all have not cleared the air.
100%.
Whatever that first argument was, you never cleared the air. Then there was another argument that is now compounded, and you haven't cleared the air.
Sweeping stuff under the rug is what
it makes the rug pile up.
Yep.
And then eventually that stuff gonna come from out under the rug and it's gonna turn into another argument. So like if you guys still have tension from previous arguments and have not cleared the air,
you gotta resolve those.
You have to resolve those, otherwise there's still gonna be tension. Something that we do when the energy's off, we literally be like, hey, energy's been off for a couple days. What's wrong?
Because clearly we're the only two in this relationship.
Yeah.
We clearly know when something's off, when something's wrong. Yeah.
So then we go back and we're like, all right, let's clear the air. Like this started like maybe 2-3 days ago. So what happened then that we just didn't say to each other? Or like what did we not say then? And then eventually it opens up the dialogue. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. Sometimes you have to clear the air.
And those conversations can be uncomfortable and tough. Yeah.
But like you've come to a better understanding of each other on the other side of things. And then not only that, you have like a blueprint for like things to avoid. Maybe there's some buttons, triggers that you never saw before. Maybe there's some things that they haven't brought up that just got on their nerves. Like maybe they were trying to, for me personally, there was a lot of things in the beginning when we used to argue a lot. There's a lot of things that I thought I could take on my chest. I thought I could just eat it and it would be okay.
And never address it.
But then they started manifesting into other arguments. And to the point where I had to like let out my frustrations. Then she was like, well, I never knew that. So now knowing that, we're in a better space to be able to communicate better. If there's something that you're holding back for the sake of peace or for the sake of like the future relationship, it's only going to make it worse. Honestly, the best thing you can do for yourself if something gets on your nerves, if something bothers you, or anything like that, just get it out there.
Calmly and respectfully though.
Yes, there's a tone.
The tone, honestly, a lot of the problem I feel like when it comes to arguments, and even with us, like we can tell the snootiness in each other's voice sometimes. I can say something one way, say something another way, and your vibe react.
It's not about what, it's about how.
Yes, definitely. Delivery is everything. So even when you're asking how to improve how we communicate with each other, I think that making sure that you're in a, I wasn't going to say like, you're not going to be in a great mental space if you have to communicate something with your partner that's uncomfortable, but making sure you're calm. Don't be heated going into the situation.
Maybe an undertone of love.
Yeah, it has to come from a place of love.
Like, if you come with like the energy of like, oh, you're really annoying me right now, and like that can kind of come out through the way you say it. So if I'm like, you're not taking out the trash, or if I'm like, hey, you know, I took out the trash last time, like, can you help me out?
Completely different.
It's a different approach.
Yes.
It's a softer approach, which allows for a softer response.
And I was gonna say too, something I feel like I've noticed in particular with like our relationship, or maybe others too, from a woman's standpoint, if we go into like addressing something with you guys from a place of kind of like, this hurt my feelings. Ultimately, a lot of times when you have a disagreement or some type of issue with your partner or friend or whatever, somebody's feelings was hurt along the way for there to be an issue. So I think coming from a place of like, oh, and the difficult conversations class that we learned about the sandwich method. So like kind of starting with like maybe a positive. So if it was something as simple as like the trash, like, hey, I really appreciate that you've been doing X, Y, and Z lately. I've noticed that like a couple times now I've had to take out the trash myself. So like if you could help in that department, that'd be great. But other than that, you're a great part, like sandwiching it. But I was gonna say, making sure that you come to the table, in particular with your partner when it's difficult conversations, in a very vulnerable state, I think is important. Vulnerable and open.
And I would also say have a plan for like what you want to come from the conversation.
Yes, what do you want out of it?
If you don't know what you want out of this conversation, you're just gonna be talking, and like you might end up repeating what you want over and over, and like they may have given you the answer, but you don't know what you're looking for. So it's happened to me a couple times. I'm sure it's happened to you, where like we've repeated it, and you're like, okay, I heard you the first time.
Right.
I gave you the answer. There's no need to repeat it another time. But that's just it's like a side effect of not knowing what you want from the conversation. You feel like you have to drill it in, but like if you got the answer, you don't have to drill it in. The communication was already set.
Right. Also, with the communication factor, I don't know if this is in your relationship or not, but if neither party or you in particular don't know how to say sorry, I think that might be why a lot of arguments aren't resolved though. There's no resolution, there's no closure, because there was never an apology for what was done.
No one wants to be the villain.
Yes. I was gonna say, I think with the communication factor, taking accountability on your side, not trying to force it on the other person, but that I think kind of sets a tone as well in having a healthy form of communication in your relationship.
And even if you're 10% wrong and the other person, you feel like the other person's like 90% wrong.
State you're wrong.
State your 10%
Take that.
and watch it.
Yeah.
Watch the other 90% come out. Now, if you say you're 10% and they don't say they're 90%, that's when you can say like, hey, you know.
Then you can gauge if that's the right person for you.
Honestly,
that's
at that point, because the right person is going to be like, okay, well, they took their lick. Let me go ahead and admit my faults too.
Therapy Thursday. My boyfriend and I had a deep conversation about how I communicate my life problems to him. I'm in college and I have a lot of payments that I make, and I'm usually stressed about money and mental issues. He says he wants me to start talking to him about things first so he can help me too, instead of going to my family first or just suffering in silence. I'm 23, he's 24. We've been together for almost 7 years. I see a future with him and I'm willing to compromise, but I just wanted to ask, when do you guys start talking with each other first about life problems before family? What I'm gauging from this, and I could be reading it wrong, but I feel like he's saying, let me be your rock. And she's not really allowing that.
Yeah.
But with her saying that she sees a future with him, so she's willing to compromise, that means that you need to lean on your rock a little bit. Because I think he's saying, like, let me be there for you. Especially they've been together 7 years. That's a long time.
That's longer than us.
I mean, we're pulling up on it.
Yeah, we're pulling up on 7 years, but like...
That's a long time. So I can kind of get from that standpoint why he's like, let me help you. Especially because he's trying to be a man. He's in that phase of like... He
wants to take care of you.
Yeah.
It sounds like from what he's saying, he wants to be the guy that you go to in your time of need. He wants to be the man, you know, that stronghold of the relationship.
Yeah.
But if you constantly go to your parents, it seems like more of your dependence is on them than it is on him.
Right.
And that kind of takes away from the validity of like his connection to you. So I would definitely say like you should lean on your man. I've always wanted her to lean on me. Like, and there's been times where I've had to lean on her, but like that builds a stronger connection between the two of you, because then you like it really solidifies like I got your back, you got my back. We're in this together. It's not like I'm in this with you, but you're in this with your family.
Right. And that's what I think I'm gauging from that submission. And that doesn't mean that you have to stop telling your family about things. I think that he's just saying, like, let me be your partner. Because ultimately what we've really discovered after being together for almost 7 years, it's a relationship 100%, but it's also a partnership. Like, you're my teammate, so let him be your teammate. That sounds like what.
And that's practically like Sunday reflection energy. He wants to know where you're at in your head, but if you're constantly telling other people where you're at, he is left in the blind, and your family's left in the know.
Yes.
That's not fair. Therapy Thursday. Hi, Josh and Isi. Just want to say I love you guys so much. I always brag about how quality and healthy your relationship is to my friends and how I want to have a quality, healthy relationship for myself one day. To the main point, there's this guy that I met in college. He's super sweet, funny, passionate about certain things, even though they aren't necessarily in common with my passions, and a really good person to hang out with. And I shot my shot, and it's been good so far. We went on some dates, and we've been hanging out for about a month and some change. But my concern is that I'm still in contact with my ex. I don't have any bad blood with my ex, and I don't have any romantic feelings for him, but I feel like it's wrong to keep in contact with him while trying to get to know this new person. I don't know what I should do. In parentheses, I feel like it's obvious, but I just want you guys' point of view on how to go about this type of situation.
Boo, you already know.
You know
you done already said it.
You know what we're finna say to you.
An ex is an ex for a reason. Even if you don't have any bad blood.
That's toxic behavior. Don't do that.
Put yourself in another person's shoes. Even if you have the standpoint like, oh, I don't have romantic feelings for my ex anymore or anything like that, understand that that doesn't allow anybody else to comfortably enter your life knowing that you still have someone you had a history with. It doesn't matter where you are at now. The fact that there's history there alone is enough to make somebody feel very insecure and not like a priority almost. Their feelings aren't a priority to you.
God doesn't let you open other doors until you have officially closed the past door.
Yeah.
It's not like God just opens up all the doors and you get to walk through all of them. It's like you got to close the door behind you.
Yes.
Close that one.
Yes.
And then move forward into your new one.
Because my thing is, you could be cordial with an ex. Like, if you happen to run into them out in public, cool.
No bad blood.
You don't need to be besties, oftentimes communicating. Because honestly, you're just bringing somebody into a love triangle. Because to me, in my personal opinion, even if you don't have romantic feelings for this ex, no guy is going to stick around with an ex that he don't still have feelings for. It's kind of like, okay, what's the point?
It is what it is.
Unless you still got something brewing.
And still, if they feel like there's still a chance, they're going to usually linger around. But like, for the respect of your newfound relationship or whatever it is, situationship,
trying to figure it out.
First of all, your mental is going to be tied between two people if you're still communicating with both.
Even if you don't have romantic feelings.
Even if it's not romantic feelings, there's still a form of intimacy when it comes to communication, especially with an ex significant other. I don't know how much time you and the ex had together, but the longer you drag that out, the more unfair it is to the next person in line.
And that's the key thing. It's just unfair.
Yeah.
Because you're making you're putting somebody in a situation where they're almost feeling in competition with someone else, even if that's not your point. That's what it's gonna feel like.
And it's gonna blow up in your face if he sees like text messages from your ex. It's just gonna cause a lot of problems.
Avoid it.
Don't do it.
You want to know what Josh needs to do?
We wouldn't do it.
Therapy Thursday. Long story short, I'm black and was adopted as a baby by a white family. I have no resentment or anything, but now that I'm 24, I see more ignorance and prejudice that my parents have against black people. In parentheses, I'm not like verbally abused at all. They just make comments about black people as a whole. I dated my boyfriend, in parentheses, that's black, for 2 years, and now we're engaged. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Okay, yeah. He is from not a white, rich area like me and is rougher than someone my parents would prefer me to marry. He has done some time, but has completely changed. Wouldn't date him if he was in the streets. And we push each other to be better all the time. My parents searched him up and found out about his past trouble, and it scares them, and they have written him off basically as a thug and haven't been supportive at all. We plan to get married anyway, and my parents refuse to support it or get to know him. You and Jay have mentioned relationships are hard without parent support, but what do you think about this?
That's tough. I don't know enough about your man.
Yeah.
Usually parents have your best interests at heart, but
this is a very peculiar situation. Yeah.
Because it seems like there's a little bit of racial undertone judgment behind it as well, from what you've said. I don't want to like put your parents on blast, but it sounds like they might still have a hint of prejudice in them. So that is not That doesn't help the situation at all, especially with his record. That doesn't help the situation.
I wish you would have told us what he did. If it's like a marijuana charge or something like that, it's like, yeah, your parents are probably tripping. It kind of, it's hard to really gauge. It really is.
It is hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge.
But she's saying that they have, we got to give her credit in the sense of like, I will hope that she has her best interest for herself.
Yeah.
She's dealt with him. They've been together for 2 years. She said she wouldn't date him if he was in the streets, and that they have helped to better each other. They both have.
Yeah.
We push each other to be better.
Be honest, if we were all judged by our worst mistakes,
yeah,
we'd be in a very terrible place.
Exactly.
So I don't want to hold bruh, especially for his past. I'm not even going to hold that against him.
Yeah.
What I want you to ask yourself is, do you love him enough to deal with the non-support of your parents?
Yeah.
And to be honest, you're not living your life for your parents.
Mm-hmm.
You're living your life for you. Mm-hmm. And that's tough. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I mean, my parents don't agree with all my decisions. Mm-hmm. Okay? But I still got a life to live.
Yeah.
And you still got a life to live. Mm-hmm. And if this is the man that you love and it's the man you want to spend the rest of your life with, then your parents' opinion is nice.
Yeah.
But it's not the determining factor in your love.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to sleep with that man. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to deal with the ups and downs and decisions with that man, not your parents. Your parents are just trying to be the best parents that they can be.
Now, what I will say is, although what she said that they aren't interested in trying to have a refuse to support or get to know him, I think that she can have a conversation with her parents expressing the importance, like not importance of their support, but just she wants them to get to know who she's got. Basically, she's gonna make this decision with or without their support, but ideally she would want them to get to know who her husband is about to be.
Yeah.
So I think like somehow communicating that again in a very vulnerable and open way. Don't go to the table like, y'all need to accept this man. It's more so like, you know how
much this man means to me.
Yeah. Or maybe they don't know how much. And maybe share with them like what he has helped, because you said that you guys better each other. How has he helped better you? Like sharing that aspect, the positives of your relationship and what you've gotten out of it, I think could help. It's not a promise on that, but it could possibly help. And then at the end of the day, if it doesn't, still, you got to choose what's best for you. That's really what it is. It's your life to live.
Your life. It's your life. Man, and sometimes on the road to success, there's a lot of scared parents.
Yeah.
Therapy Thursday. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I think we're doing well. We're doing well?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're doing well. I'm a new quality crew member, and I'm loving your quality content so far. And I'm loving your quality content so far. Anyway, thanks. Anyway, here's the problem. So in my friendship group, there are 4 of us. All my friends know that I am very sporty, and lately I have been playing sports every break on the oval with one of the girls in my friendship group. But this has caused a lot of drama within the friend group because the other 2 girls, let's call them Marlana and Shania. Marlana and Shania feel annoyed and left out. We've asked both Marlana and Shania to come and play with us several times, but all they do is roll their eyes and say, why do you have to go? And now I've found out that they've been talking behind my back, calling me annoying and saying things like nothing would stop her from playing sports, not even pain. Josh and Isi, am I the one in the wrong for doing what I love, or are my friends just being petty?
Friends are being petty.
Friends are being petty.
What?
Sounds like your friends are hating.
This is why I use that friend word, real. See? Because like, a true friend to me would just be naturally supportive of anything that you care about. Yeah. That doesn't mean that they have to go on the field with you and play, but there should be no rah-rah talking behind your back, hater energy.
If anything, they could have like maybe a more mature conversation and be like, hey, we feel left out. We don't necessarily play sports like that.
Can we do something else together?
Yeah. Maybe we can split the time. I know you like sports a lot, but like maybe you can come kick it with us. But in that means that there needs to be a compromise. Maybe your friends should come play with you, and maybe sometimes you should go play with them in their fields. But
I'm trying to hold my tongue right now.
I know.
Because you know the Virgo with me. Once I find out somebody talk crap about behind my back and I thought you were my friend, we're good.
That's the line right there.
We're good.
Like once there's like that, oh, you're talking smack about me behind my back, then it doesn't even feel like a friendship. It feels more like a situation friendship.
Yeah.
That just feels toxic.
I'm just big on, if I call you a friend, that means I trust you. I trust you to have my best judgment. I trust you to be supportive of me and my dreams and stuff like I trust. I feel like it's difficult to trust people who talk crap. They don't want to play with you, although you've offered, and then they also talk smack because it's something you want to do for yourself. Because it's almost like throwing judgment on the fact that you still have individuality.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes friendship groups like that can be very toxic because it's like, no, we need to ride together. Everything we do, it has to be together. Blah, blah, blah. And I think that's super toxic sometimes.
Yeah. Don't let your friends be crabs in the bucket and pull you back into something that you don't want to do. If sports are your passion, if sports is what you like to do, then play sports.
Live in that.
You might find some new friends that actually like sports just like you. It's crazy what sports do for you because I made most of my friends, if not all my friends, through sports teams. The people that didn't play sports, yes, I was associates with them, but friendships, you build a lot deeper connections with the people that share
similar experiences.
Similar experiences.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, Therapy Thursday. Love y'all. Helped me in more ways than you know. I guess I could have. So I'm in a relationship with a guy who was friends with my ex. I'm 17 and he is 19. We started off well, but when I ask certain questions that I think are not that deep, he shuts down and then disappears for days, up to 2 weeks, and then comes back as if nothing happens. And for sake of peace, I let it go even though that's not me.
Pause.
Yeah, I wanted to pause, but I didn't.
You didn't teach him how to treat you.
Yeah, just by not like saying anything when he comes back after dipping off for 2 weeks, you're that instantly, and somebody said it can be a man, it can be a woman, whoever, in their head it's like you enabled that behavior.
Yep.
That behavior is okay and it's gonna happen again.
Silence is enabling.
Yes. Recently, he started communicating more and showing more interest in having a conversation or having a convo and talks about our future, and he wants to marry me after I finish college. But in the same time, he disappeared and came back. I started talking to a guy who checks all the boxes and does the things he doesn't, but is now trying to do. Should I stick it out because I really like him and it's a work in progress, or should I move on with the guy that isn't a project but already knows what he is about? Ooh, boo, you got yourself, okay. She did a whole little three triangle entanglement.
I'm gonna paint this out to you.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a therapist. This is just advice. Take it with a grain of salt or whatever. If you had a car, right? You had this car. It's got some problems. You've been driving it. Sometimes the wheel, gets locked up. Sometimes the brakes don't work.
Okay.
You gotta take it to the shop. You don't got the car for 2 weeks. You get the shop back. Get the car back. It's driving. It's doing its thing. Whatever. It's getting you from A to B. Whatever. It's not the fanciest ride in the world, but it's getting you there. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, dealer's like,
I got this other car.
I got this other car.
Okay.
Runs really well.
Okay.
Ain't gonna have no problems. You start driving that car. It's a great experience. And all of a sudden, he's like, hey, I'll give you the option. You can either keep this car or you can take back your car. Mind you, that car still has its problems. Are you going to take that car because you have history? Or are you going to take this new car? Take the new car!
I was going to say, though, my only thing with her taking the new car, her saying, should I move on with the guy that isn't a project? I think that might be a little, it's a little naive to think that there's not going to be any problems. Because the thing is, nobody is perfect. So almost like the grass is going to seem greener, obviously, on the other side.
Yeah.
That's not to say that this guy might not be a better option for you, but it's to more so like kind of ground you a little bit more. Yeah, bring you down a little bit more. Things can seem great right now. Just like I'm sure when you started the relationship with the other guy. I also cannot not acknowledge, because if this was a guy, I would be on the ass. The fact that she's in a relationship with this guy, and yet there's an option to be with another guy. Do you feel me? That's not okay.
Yeah.
You gotta close a door before you can open another door.
You gotta turn that car in.
I think that obviously her letting him dip off for 2 weeks or whatever, no communication, and coming back and not saying anything, that's more so on you than it is on him. Because I think that in my head, she's justifying having this side piece that seems like a better option right now because, oh, dude dipped off for me. But she never communicated in the first place that was a problem that he dipped off. Do you feel me?
You
know what I mean? You gotta look at that a little bit more deeper. It's not.
Scrap my analogy. Scrap my analogy.
But do you feel what I'm saying? Like,
nah, there's some validity to what you're saying here. Because honestly, back in the beginning when we did say you didn't teach him how to treat you.
Right.
You didn't teach him that. Now, if you would have said something in that 2-week period that he left, whatever, and came back, and you said something, and then he was like, "Oh, snap, my bad," or if he said like some off the wall stuff, like I was just handling business, doing my own thing. Okay, then it's like that's a toxic relationship. You don't want somebody in and out your life, so you need to go ahead and drop that, and then just not even the fact that it's like you're getting a new project. It's just you're moving on.
Right. But she's saying that he's now starting to communicate more, showing more interest, having a convo, talking about their future and wanting to marry her. That's why I can't just straight up say, yeah, go for the other guy. Because if this other dude is trying to make like progressive steps towards making it a better relationship for you / y'all.
Yeah.
And you did not communicate an issue that you had with him in the first place, that's not fair.
That's not fair. And it's also not fair that you have a side piece.
It's not, sis. It's not.
Dang. I was this close to being team you. But now I gotta tell you about yourself because she definitely opened my eyes to something. Like at the same time, yeah, you got if you're not communicating a problem, you have no excuse to complain about it.
Yeah.
And it's not fair, and it's certainly not
like,
fair.
Oh, so I'm gonna go
because you're doing that, I'm just gonna do my own thing.
Right.
It's like, but you never made it known that it was an issue.
Right. Obviously, I mean, I think it's like common sense that if your significant other dips off and doesn't talk to you for days on out or 2 weeks, that is a problem. But you didn't state that it's a problem.
Yeah. I will say, in all of your future endeavors or relationships or anything like that, for the sake of peace is not for the sake of peace.
Not worth, yeah. No.
You go ahead and just disturb the peace real quick.
Yeah.
Because that can't keep happening to you.
And I wouldn't say I'm a huge person that believes in karma, but I kind of do believe in it. So, and just in the sense of like making sure that you close that door, have that proper closure, because we're not saying to stick with this guy. If this guy isn't a good fit for you and the other guy is, cool, but it's just not cool to
how you moving about.
Yeah, you're moving real grimy, sis. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty selfish because now you're toggling two people's hearts. Because she decides to stay with other dude, that grass is greener side dude, he gonna be booty hurt. Something has happened that's, or you go with this dude, other dude who's been trying to improve for you is gonna be booty hurt. I just don't think what's on the other side of what could happen with that situation if you continue on this route would be something you'd be happy with. So respectfully, figure shit out.
Ride that first car till the wheels fall off.
You think so? I'm not saying for her to stay with you. I'm saying
but
pick one.
What
one
I'm
at
saying
a time.
is like ride the car till the wheels fall off. Like forget the analogy. Talk to bruh and address the problems that you've had in the relationship. If he can accept those and become a better version of himself, and you were happy with him,
right?
Then what's not to like? Like obviously you've put in enough work with that person to where it's like, okay, why would I just throw that all away for nothing?
Right.
But if it comes to if you come to the conclusion that like, yo, it's not for you, then it's not for you. Move on. Yeah, you can try things with the new guy, but only until after you've closed that door.
Yeah.
You might end up losing both eating greedy.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be careful with situations.
You gotta
like
be careful. Therapy Thursday. I've been watching both of y'all with my sister for a few years now, and I'm so proud of how y'all grew. Much love.
Thank you.
I'm in school focusing on my classes, and this boy came and tried to talk me up. I told him we should be friends first. He was okay with it. He was really kind at first, then started to get really clingy the next day. On day 5, he was saying stuff like we were meant to be together. When I walk the halls, he starts showing up random places where he has no business being. I talked to him about my boundaries, and I made it very clear that I value my alone time. He said okay and apologized, and I thought that was that. He continued again 2 weeks after, and he keeps following me. I feel like he wasn't listening to me, and I wasn't going to stress myself about a man where I'm at in my life now. I cut him off and move on. But now he's starting to creep around me when I'm not looking and do busy work. Like if I see him, I'm getting very uncomfortable because it's got to the point where he is following me out of the building into my car. How do I get him off my back for good, y'all?
It sounds like you might need I don't know if you're in college or high school, but you need to contact security.
Yeah.
That's all I really got for you.
If you're in high school, go to your school counselor and your parents. You should tell multiple adults what's happening and why you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Also have a buddy system. Have a friend that you keep on you until this is resolved, because that seems like very stalker, creepy-ish tendencies.
100%.
If you are in college, contact the police. This guy is creepy. It's different in high school, because sometimes high school boys don't understand boundaries. They're like, okay, I'm just gonna follow.
But if you're in college, you're a young adult and you know right from wrong, and like,
this guy's a creep.
Yeah.
This guy's an official creep.
Yeah. Dang.
So yeah, I would definitely say like, get other people involved.
Yeah.
Get adults involved. And if you're bold enough, like if this is high school, I'd still say get an adult involved. But if this still happens and like there is no adult, you should really just confront the person back. Hey,
put them on blast.
You need to leave me alone. I'm not interested. You can like make it very clear that, hey, I'm not interested at all. Like you should leave me alone. I see you following me and it's very creepy. You should leave me alone.
Best of luck with that, sis.
And
please stay safe.
Honestly, please stay safe, ladies. And
pepper spray, if you don't got pepper spray with you, or some type of like weapon.
I feel like we live in a day and age where like there's a lot of crazies out here too. There's a lot of good people, but there's a lot of crazies. And you need to be on guard at all times. You need to be aware of your surroundings.
Especially as a woman.
Like it's a sad truth.
Yeah.
It's a sad truth, but you do need to be protecting yourself. So again, get other people involved, get adults involved. If you're older than high school, honestly, you could still tell a teacher.
What, professors?
Yeah, you could tell like a professor.
I was gonna say, if they're in college, you dang near need a restraining order.
Yeah, you need police.
Yeah, because he's moving
really creepy.
Yeah.
Especially the part where he's like following you out the building
to the car now, because it's escalating slowly. That's my concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, boo. That is all we have for you guys for today. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to, don't hesitate to comment below any extra tips, advice, whatever that you guys want to give some of the people that had submissions today, because you know everybody can use a little grain of salt here and there.
Sprinkle of advice. Also, let us know down in the comment section if you guys have been liking these vlogs that we've been posting.
We're trying to get a little more active.
We're trying to get out. We're trying to get active, and we have a couple of things up Hero's sleeve in terms of like fun stuff.
Whatever, let's go.
But you guys have to keep those post notifications turned all the way up so you can get this quality content that we are bringing to you guys in the future. So, if you don't already know, I am Hydrated Hero. She's Isimeme Edeko, and together we are Josh and EC. Now you can follow one of us. You can follow two of us. I'm on it now. I got you. You can follow all three of us. You might as well follow all three of us because we are happy, healthy, and hydrated on all three. But other than that, y'all, until we meet again, peace, love, hair grease, and we out.
Baby, close it. Okay. That's what you always do.
Well, that is all we have.
I couldn't remember if it was welcome or okay. Okay.
Well, that is all. I need you to get serious.
You what?
You!
You're doing it on purpose now.
What am I doing?
We never had that long of a pregnant pause.
Are you kidding me?
Let's go.
You laugh every time I do it. Well, that is.
You're doing that on purpose, bro.
Hey, subscribe. Hey, new